Okay, we're rolling. Yash, co-founder of Send AI. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Excited to be on this podcast.
I am too. I reached out to you and the team a few weeks ago. I am trying to get more projects from the Solana ecosystem on the pod, and so that the public can learn more about what's going on. And very excited to learn about what you and the Send AI team are doing. Before we get into that, would love to hear about your background. How'd you get into crypto? And specifically, of all the ecosystems you could become part of, why'd you choose Solana as your home?
Yeah, so I entered Solana ecosystem back in 2021. It was like at the peak of bull market in 2021. So that time I was just looking around different ecosystems, and Solana had a community called Super Team. So it was like a very new community, and it started with Super Team in India. So I was one of the first early members there, and I started by doing some bounties. So in bounties, you have to write a deep dive essay on a particular topic. So that's how like I got started in the Super Team ecosystem or the Solana ecosystem. And since Super Team was exclusively to the Solana, so obviously via Super Team, like getting access to anyone in the Solana ecosystem was much easier because Super Team was heavily focused on educating about Solana to all the developers and also all the writers as well. So I think yeah, Super Team was one of the main reasons I got into Solana. And in general, I think that time it was that like FTX was one of the like major supporters for Solana, and Solana had like a lot of good projects. And like, I think I still remember Serum, Mango, and all of that was a big project on Solana. So that's what like attracted me to Solana. That there was like all the actions happening and so on. So yeah, that's the reason like I started with the Solana ecosystem.
Yeah, I remember during that time. And at the time, Solana was doing a lot of hackathons, and one of my friends was actually the community manager, and Austin. He was the one who started all the kind of that got started creating all these hackathons around the world for Solana. And I was amazed at how active all the developers were. And I had been very active in the Ethereum ecosystem with DevCon and all the ETH global events for Ethereum. And I hadn't seen as much excitement outside of Ethereum until Solana, and I was so surprised. Um, I'm curious. The so Polygon has a very active developer community and a lot of activity in India. Outside of Polygon and Solana, are you seeing other ecosystems that are actively trying to recruit developers in India?
Uh, right now, I'm not very much updated with what's happening in India, but in general, I see like other chains as well, Avalanche, Aptos, and all like trying hard to gain Indian developer mindset. I think is recently Monad also started like building the developer community. But I think like right now, I would say Solana is one of the like top chain of choice for Indian developers. And in general, Indian developers are generally someone who likes to like work for different companies, and there are very few projects like which are coming out of India as such. So yeah, I would say like people just like see like wherever they are seeing like more projects or openings, they generally like to go into that ecosystem. So I would say it's less about community and more about job openings when
Mm,
it comes to developer interest in a particular chain. And yeah, like there are a lot of different ecosystems which are doing pretty well in India right now.
yeah. Let's transition to Send AI. From what I understand, Send AI started with the first Solana AI hackathon that you and I think a couple of team members kind of or friends kind of got together. And I want to read something that you had written back in October, and then maybe use that as a starting off point for a conversation. Um, and so the title of this post is the Solana AI Hackathon story: blood, sweat, and tears. And then you talk about how the Coinbase development, what is it? The Coinbase development um,
Platform, yeah.
platform, and then you end one of the intro with this statement. You said, while the base team was in full throttle mode for AI agents narrative, in contrast to Solana, no one in the builders community was talking about AI agents. The Solana Foundation was sleeping on it, and it's understandable given it's slow, less than 30 folks, and archaic. AI agents are 2025's biggest tech narrative, and seeing Solana lose the agent race deeply bothered me. I had a call with the Solana Foundation, but they were still largely in denial and unconvinced about the AI agent meta. And I did not want Solana to lose. Wow. So tell us about that, because that is, talk about mission driven. You're not just in it to make money. You're in it for to make Solana win and to contribute to the space. Like what's driving this?
Yeah, so as like Solana was one of the first ecosystems I entered in crypto. So from 2021 to 2024, I would say like I grew up in the Solana ecosystem. Like I made a lot of friends here, and that's where like I also learned a lot of things. So obviously like it was like by 2024 I had this attitude that I have to also give back to the Solana ecosystem, and at the same time it also gives me a chance to like be one of the leaders in the Solana ecosystem. So, and just before the Solana AI Hackathon, we also conducted a event called Solana Consumer Day. And I've been a very big proponent of like just making sure there are more apps in the Solana ecosystem and there's more focus in the consumer space and so on. But one thing I saw that Solana was lacking was that it wasn't like a leader in the AI agent space. Whereas like someone like Base was very much focusing on AI agents, and Coinbase particularly was like very much a big proponent in the AI agents, and they're still one of the biggest proponents of AI agents. So I was like, if we don't end up like being one of the early movers in AI agent space, then there's a high chance that Base becomes the leading chain and Solana doesn't end up becoming the leading chain. And Solana had luckily all the capital velocity because of all the meme coin mania and all. So all the top AI coins at that time, like Goat, like Goat was a top meme coin. So that was in Solana. So I was like, Solana has that potential. And obviously, as a tech, it's very, very good and all of that. So I was like, if you combine everything, it's one of the best chains suited for AI agents. So I was like, what can I do to make sure that Solana is one of the number one chain for AI agents? And yeah, like that's how like I came up with this idea that maybe like a hackathon focused just on AI would be really great, because before that there has been a lot of Solana hackathons. Like there's a Solana official hackathon every like two times in a year. So they, but these are not like focused on a particular niche. So I was like, there's a need for a niche hackathon which just focus on AI agents. So like there are a lot of developers and a lot of teams start thinking about AI agents. And I didn't have even expectations that there would be like a lot of good projects coming out of hackathon. But I was like, this is also a good time to like keep builders talking about AI agents, and they will start thinking about how to build AI agents and so on in this space. So yeah, that was the motivation which came here. And another thing was like earlier a lot of people were in denial mode. So that basically fueled the fire that now I have to do it, and I'll have to prove everyone that like we need a AI hackathon. And more than AI hackathon, was more about AI agents narrative. Hackathon was just a medium to convey the narrative that I want to enforce in the Solana ecosystem. But it was more on this, just I wanted to do this just to prove the point. So yeah, first it started with a rational point, but later it become like just I wanted to do this to prove the point. There was no other motivation, because rationally it didn't make sense to just go against the odds and do a hackathon. So that's how it started here.
Well, tell us the story after that. So this drove a fire in your belly to start this AI hackathon and start convincing the Solana ecosystem and the Solana community, hey, we need to pay attention to AI agents. We can't let Base beat us. We need to be part of the story. And so you had the hackathon, and then tell us what came out of it.
Yeah. So after I decided, okay, we have to do the hackathon, I talked to Solana Foundation. They were not completely in denial mode, but they were of not very high opinion of it. That like, okay, like this is the need of a thing, or even if AI agents are real or not. So I was like, okay, like let me just post it on Twitter and then see like how the community reacts to it. So what I did was like I just made a post on it. So I like took a help from one of a design agency. So this design agency designed the entire branding for me for free, just because they wanted to work with us, because previously they have worked with us and they were like, we just want to be part of it, because they were of the opinion that this would become big. So this is a very good opportunity for them to also sign up in the ecosystem. So they designed me a poster here, and then I just posted on Twitter. In the Twitter post, it was that announcing Solana AI Hackathon. and it was written $100K in prizes, focus on AI agent space. And I just wrote one line, reach out for partners and sponsors. And when I posted it out, initially I didn't get like lot of traction for the first 1 hour, but then it started blowing up. Like a lot of people organically tweeted, and obviously Solana handle also co-tweeted it. And I knew Solana handle, so kind of I took help from them as well. That like, can you just like co-tweet it, because I'm doing this for the community. And apart from that, I didn't have any partners or anything. So even $100K in prizes, that was like more of a bluff, because I didn't have any prize money. Obviously, I had this conviction that I would be able to raise it, but I didn't have any prize money myself. And I was like, okay, if something goes bad, then I can just like put some money from my pocket, or I would just arrange something. But I had this conviction that people will support me. So just tweeted it out, and when it went out, like it went to 1,000 likes, and obviously it got a lot of traction. People started talking about it, and luckily, like over the next 5-6 days, I started like receiving a lot of DMs that we want to sponsor this hackathon. And then the next 5-6 days was all about like just making sure what are the different tracks which would be there and how can we fit it. So I just made a 1 page memo, just like we make for like, let's say, investment memo. So I made a 1 page memo for hackathon and just send it to everyone whosoever was DMing me. And yeah, in the next 5-6 days, we aimed of raising $100K, but we ended up raising $280K. And we ended up raising from Jupiter, Jito, Helios, like all the top teams in Solana ecosystem, and then also EI16Z, Zerebro, so all the top AI teams as well, and plus VCs like Multicoin Capital and so on. So at the end of the day, like everyone came here to support me. And another interesting part was that I wanted to collect all the prize money in advance. So it had like two particular reasons. So one was that obviously that once there is a prize money in advance, it becomes very easy to disburse funds to hackathon participants as soon as they win. And another one was like whenever someone gives prize money in advance, they have a skin in the game. So once they've given the prize money, they would be obliged to hear amplify as much as they can. So I just like took everyone's money like in advance, and I was like, if you don't pay by tomorrow, like we won't have you as a sponsor. So and like I went through all the finance teams, and I think like everyone paid in like just 5-6 days. So everything was very quick. And yeah, by just 1 week, we already had the prize money ready, and also like all the sponsors ready, all the tracks ready. And then it was just like going and announcing the hackathon as the registration starts. So yeah, that's how like I actually ended up doing this. And Solana Foundation at the end was just one of the sponsors, and not even the biggest sponsor. It was the third or fourth biggest sponsor. And we in total we raised from more than 30 plus sponsor, and the median sponsor amount was just $5K. So which shows that it was very diverse set of sponsors, and not very few sponsors putting a lot of money. So yeah, and obviously like we kind of disbursed most of the prize money to the participants itself, because yeah, at the end like we just wanted to make sure that participants get a lot of it. So yeah.
I think that's amazing. I think a lot of the, when you're introducing kind of getting an organization like the Solana ecosystem, the community to pay attention to something different and new, changing hearts and minds is always hard. And a lot of crypto, we over index, I think, on the technical part, but really the hard things are really kind of the soft qualitative aspects of changing hearts, changing minds, convincing people you should pay attention to AI. This is not a fly by night thing. This is going to be around, and we need to take it seriously. And Solana needs to be a leader in the space. And I think that it sounds like you were able to get the organization, everybody to kind of pivot and think, hey, we need to take this seriously. And to get all these organizations to pitch in and be part of the hackathon is, they have skin in the game, and that's so smart. You did really great. Now let's pivot to Send AI. Like, that was kind of the beginning of the story, and tell us about how you founded Send AI, and tell us about the target audience for Send AI and its kind of key features that in the development kit.
Yeah, so when we started Solana AI Hackathon, we didn't have Send AI as the focus or anything. Obviously, at the back of the mind, we had that we want an organization, but initially it was me basically doing all the comms for the hackathon. And but then I realized that like we need an organization which can be like kind of the anchor of the hackathon, so or the host of the hackathon. So that time we started Send AI. So we already had a coin called Send Coin. So we started Sendcoin, I think 6 7 months ago, and that was like started as more of a community token, as a meme coin, but later on like it started like being more of a builder coin. So we already had a gaming arm called Send Arcade. So we thought like let's also create a AI arm called Send AI. So this Send AI would basically initially be the host of the hackathon, and then just like be like a development lab which is like building a lot of AI agents and different AI products in the Solana ecosystem. But the vision of Send AI has been very simple, that we want to accelerate the Solana AI ecosystem. So we feel that like if we grow the Solana AI landscape by 10x or 100x, at the same time we will start accruing value because we are here growing this pie. And our entire focus has always been to grow the Solana AI, because if we feel that like right now the space is very small, obviously the tokens and all are still a bit bloated, but the space in itself, the total addressable market, is very small. So we want to make sure that we grow the space, and in the same time we keep accruing all the value. So that was the vision like Sunday I started with. And obviously Solana AI Hackathon was initially the focus. So during the Solana AI Hackathon, we also wanted to make sure that developers find it very easy to build AI agents, particularly on Solana. So we started building Solana Agent Kit, which was essentially a toolkit for connecting any AI agents to Solana. So in that, like initially we just integrated 2 3 protocols, but before releasing that, like I just went to all the ecosystem teams and I said that we are thinking of releasing this. Would you like to contribute? So I went to Radium, I went to Orca, I went to Drift, and all the big protocols like Metaplex and so on. And I told them, why don't you contribute to this kit? And everyone was very enthusiastic because we were already like organizing Solana AI Hackathon, and we were pretty much in the news. And apart from that, like everyone already knew us in the Solana ecosystem because we have been here for quite long time. So they started contributing to the kit. And uh, when we were about to release this, like we already had 12 13 protocols integrated, and everyone was like community contributed. They started contributing themselves. So that way, when we announced the Solana Agent Kit, these people also, since they contribute, they had also skin in the game. So they also amplified hard. And when we released Solana Agent Kit, it was a huge success. For example, the post got more than 1 million views, more than 2.5k likes, and everyone was talking about it because this was like one of the first toolkit on a blockchain level, which is like just focus on a particular blockchain. So earlier, like Coinbase had this agent kit, but it was exclusively on Base, but it had just 3 4 protocols integrated. But here we were releasing with almost 13 14 protocols integrated. So that's how like Solana Agent Kit was released. And currently we have around 30 protocols integrated, and we have more than 90,000 downloads, around 1100 stars on GitHub, and 600 folks. So from the developer stand adoption point of view, it has been growing very fast. And a lot of builders are building in the building using the Solana Agent Kit. Even in Hackathon, we had around 60 plus projects which built using Solana Agent Kit, despite us releasing just 3 4 days before the hackathon. So that showed that like people wanted to build things. And here, like we don't have any competitor or we don't have any replacement, because if you want to integrate any Solana SDKs very easily, Solana Agent Kit makes it very easy to connect your AI agents. So yeah, like we are kind of exclusive to Solana. We don't have any competitors or any alternatives as such. But at the same time, it's completely free, public, open source good. So we can't directly monetize from the Solana Agent Kit as well. So yeah, right now for Sendia, one of the main focus is Solana Agent Kit, but we are planning like different other products and initiatives, like more initiatives like maybe like an AI accelerator. And obviously like we have different regional activations which are going on. For example, we will be conducting a demo day in UAE next month. And apart from that, like just like yesterday we conducted a workshop with Super Team Poland. So we keep conducting like different regional workshops and everything, because yeah, for us it's like just growing the Solana AI space and keep building different products. Because if we have the good developer mindset and the community mindset, everyone would be like eager to use our products and also our toolkits and whatever like we keep building. So yeah, that's been the broadly the vision of Sandia.
So the Solana Agent Kit, you're not monetizing it. It's a free public good that you're giving to the Solana ecosystem. That's amazing that you guys are doing that. What apps have you seen using the Agent Kit that you're excited about?
Yeah, so one of them would be Newer. So Newer is like kind of a chat GPT for Solana, where you give instructions and then it does certain things. So in fact, like we saw that like lot of people were building kind of, you can say, chat GPT wrappers, or a chat interface where people can do Solana actions. So we also made our own such type of thing where we open sourced it completely, and now you can just like install it using a package. So for example, you just like do npm install create Solana agent, and it will install that package, and in just 5 minutes, in less than 5 minutes actually, you can build your own LLM wrapper. In that, like, you can say that LLM to create a orca pool, or like trade on Jupiter, or basically even like long or short on trips. So any actions which are possible on Solana Agent Kit, you can do that. Obviously, it's not very production friendly, that like it won't work 100% of times, because there's still times when these models hallucinate, and since these models aren't very optimized for tool calling yet, so this is one of the problems that we have identified. But I would say at least for the 95% of the cases, it will work well. So this is one of the package that we built, so like anyone can build such types of things, and obviously keep improving. And there's another project called Hive, which is like kind of a agent orchestration. They have been using Solana Agent Kit.
Mm.
uh, Apart from that, like, there are lot of other projects as well which have integrated Solana Agent Kit. So people are also using Solana Agent Kit in some partial forms. So for example, they are integrating few SDKs from Solana Agent Kit, not the entire kit, because if you use the entire kit, then there's a chance that tools might start hallucinating, because there's a lot of SDKs, and
Mm.
LLM might get confused. So yeah, I would say like agent orchestration is like one of the good use cases that I have seen so far. LLM wrappers are obviously a good use cases as well. And then like there are like different DeFi agents as well. For example, yield optimizer agents, and then there's like a LP agent which is using Solana Agent Kit to LP on Meteora. So essentially, if you are building any agents on top of these protocols, you can use Solana Agent Kit, because right now we are the only tooling layer for Solana which covers like wide a variety of uh, protocols, and we also have AI integrations like LangChain, etc. So that like this frameworks already have the tool context, so you don't have to worry about the giving context and everything. So you just need to decide which LLM model to use. Until now, we have figured out that Claude has worked the best, because it has the best tool calling among different AI models. So if you're using Claude and LangChain, and then this different tools, like, you can build a very good AI agent or a LLM, or even a chat interface, which can work for most of the cases. So this has been our observation so far, and what people have been building
Yep.
on top of it.
I met with I don't know if you've heard of Open Ledger. I met with them, interviewed them last week, and their approach to kind of decentralized AI is very interesting. And it's for the most part, I think it's chain agnostic. And so I'm curious, since Send AI, the Solana Agent Kit is dedicated, but can it also be used by applications on other chains?
Not directly. So we have some bridge integrations. For example, we have Maya and Finance integrated, and then we also have D-Bridge integrated, and soon we'll have a much deeper integration with Wormhole as well, where like you
Mm.
can do intense sort of transactions. Like they just released the intense protocol, so we are integrating that deeply as well. So obviously, like, we have such cross-chain integrations. So let's say when you agents is using is doing any transaction on base, and they want to send it to Solana as well, that can be done.
Mm.
And if any agents want to, let's say, fund wallet from Base or Polygon or different other chains, they can do that as well via Solana Agent Kit. But currently, we are like strategically focused only on Solana, because Sendia started as like growing the Solana ecosystem. So obviously, we might expand to other chains and maybe like add different capabilities, but we want to be vertically very focused on Solana, because we feel that like in Solana there's a lot of improvements that can be done. And if we focus just on Solana, and we believe that like at the end Solana would be the executional layer for agents. So
Hmm.
we even call all the agents which are built using Solana Agent Kit as the executional agent, because these are executing on chain, unlike other AI agents which are just like, let's say, tweeting on Twitter, or basically just like doing live streams and so on. So we want more and more on chain agents which can execute on chain, and we want Solana would to be the executional layer. So that's why like we also named it Solana Agent Kit, and we just want to make sure that like we ensure any agent which is coming, whether be a web2 agent or anyone who is like not even in crypto, but they should be able to connect to Solana and connect all the protocols. And the Solana Agent Kit is wallet agnostic, so you can connect any types of wallet, like embedded wallet, or even like your phantom wallet and so on. So
Mm.
at the end of the day, Solana Agent Kit is completely wallet agnostic. It's just like it needs to be a Solana wallet, or in fact, even it can be even SVM wallet. For example, there's a layer 2 on Solana called Sonic SVM. So we essentially cloned Solana Agent Kit to that. So now it's a Sonic Agent Kit as well, and we didn't have to do any changes. Like it works perfectly fine on that as well. It's just that those protocols need to support that. So on the wallet level, like all the transaction signing, everything works perfectly fine on any SVM. So it's not that we are just focused on Solana as such, but it's like we can be operational in any SVM environment.
Yeah. So we've been talking about the Solana Agent Kit and as kind of one part of Send AI. But the Send ecosystem has lots of other products and offerings in it. Send.fun is one. Can you tell us a little bit about Send.fun?
Yeah. So send actually is structured in a way that it has a token called send token. So which again like has been operational from the last 7-8 months, and like we had seen a lot of ups and downs in the token, and obviously like it's like kind of you can say it's a way to speculate on the send ecosystem in general. And then there's a gaming arm called Send Arcade. So Send Arcade is like heavily focused on building different fun games. So for example, they have a game called Snakes and Ladders where you roll a dice, and you just like keep playing. So if you fall in a ladder, then you get like some meme coins. If you fall in some snakes, then you basically climb
Mm,
down the ladder and so on. So essentially it's like kind of a fun game, like, but it has like a bit of speculative component because you're getting meme coins, and every time you roll the dice you have to spend some soul. And in most of their games, how it works is like you play via soul, but you end up winning send. So every time a user plays a game, the soul is converted into send, and if they win, like they get send as a winning. So that way every game has an inherent buy pressure to send. So that's how like send also accrues utility here, because it has an inherent buy pressure, and there's a high chance that anyone who wins send doesn't directly sell it. So we can say that like it's a good Trojan horse for onboarding people to send ecosystem as well. And till now, like these games have done more than 170,000 transactions, and around $1.5 million in volumes. And we didn't like spend anything in marketing. Most of our reach has been organic, and it has been coming from channels like Backpack, because we are natively integrated in Backpack
mm,
as Blinks. And then we also like deployed on Eclipse, which is another layer 2 on Ethereum. And then apart from that, like we also have like other distribution channels from where people keep getting, and the word of mouth is also decently strong here. But yeah, like obviously this is like a very good first step and kind of a good cash cow as well, because it keeps generating small revenues here. But the game here would be the bigger. Like for example, we are now building a no code transaction builder. So example, if you build any game, like let's say pinball or any sorts of normal games, you can just integrate this transaction builders, and now it can be developed converted into a web3 game, because now this can have all the soft functionality, or if you want to integrate metaplex NFTs, that can be also done. And if you just want to have, let's say, pay per transactions, you can do that, and everything would be no code. So basically like you just bring any one of the games and then like attach all the transaction logic, and you just deploy that. So this is
mm,
like one of the projects that we are building. Then we're also thinking of a Unity framework for Solana, for example, so that like all the game developers which are building using Unity can integrate Solana easily and do some Solana actions. And we also building our own app called Arcade app, because one insight we got was right now we are relying on different distribution channels, because all these games are essentially blinks inside different apps. So it's like kind of mini games. So we thought that it's better to also have our own app where you have options to do a lot of mini games. So right now we have 6 mini games, but we want to expand it to 10 mini games, and in future even 100 mini games. And we want to also enable developers to keep building these mini games, and there will be a single app where people can browse all the mini games, and there's a single wallet, and they can use this wallet across different games. So that way we kind of own the users, and at the same time all this user will have a username, and we also start building a social graph here. So it
mm.
would be similar to what Facebook was in 2013-14, where they had a lot of different mini games, and at the same time it was a social network. So it's like kind of inspired from that, but completely built on Solana, and using Solana as the rails for the entire payment things, and also on the speculative layer. So maybe like most of these games can even have bonding curve and so on. So it will be fun speculative apps, like targeted for users who just want to have fun and do small ticket size transaction. So apart from that, like on the send ecosystem, we are also soon building a Solana app kit. So just like we built Solana Agent Kit, one of the insights that we got by building like lot of apps ourselves and lot of consumer applications has been that we can also enable building consumer apps on Solana much easier, just like agents. So this would be a app kit which will be focusing on building apps very easily. So it would have reference implementation of bonding curves, then NFTs and so on. So where developers can just plug and play. And as like AI is becoming much more advanced, I personally feel that the cost of producing apps would be significantly lower. So as the cost of producing apps are significantly lower, people would start building these apps in just 2 or 3 days. And here we are providing all the plug and play architecture and all the Solana integrations, and it will also enable any people, whether be from a traditional background or anyone who doesn't even know about Solana, they just like plug and play everything and build a Solana consumer apps very fast. So that's also one of the vision that we are building for. Solana AppKit would again like initially would be complete open source, but we also want to monetize. So later on, like we'll start building our own platform, and that ties to both apps as well as agents. That even on the AI agent side, we would also start building our own platform, which starts accruing value. But we still feel that like agents are not doesn't have PMF or doesn't have a good utility so far. So we are just waiting for that, because a platform with agents like which doesn't have any utility doesn't make sense. So for now, like we are just like focusing on building the infra layer, and when we feel that now is a good time to start monetizing and build our own platform, we will start doing that, because we at the end of the day have the entire ecosystem ready. But in general, for Send ecosystem, the focus is entirely on apps and agents. And another interesting thing which we are doing is, since we are talking to a lot of builders day in and day out, and we have lot of different initiatives like AI hackathons and then other sorts of events and so on. For example, we are also host of Solana Consumer Day. So we thought that it's a very good way to also monetize all the cool projects that we work with. So we'll be also launching Send Ventures, which would be
Mm,
initially like an angel syndicate where different Solana founders can come and invest in the early stage startups. And obviously, it would be at the very early stage where we invest like $200K for, let's say, 5% or 10%, and we help them go through the entire journey, and like just like keep helping us as a builders as well. So that's another initiative that we are planning. Obviously, the long term plan here would be that like we raise a proper fund from LPs and so on. But right now, it would be starting as an angel syndicate. So yeah, we are kind of like just trying to build like lot of different projects inside the Send ecosystem, and everything is tied to a single token, the Send coin. So that's how we have like structured the entire Send ecosystem. Obviously, it's a very ambitious play, and we are still an experiment. It might work, it might not work. But we love doing experiments, and our entire team is like focused on doing a lot of experiments. So yeah, like I just always say that Send is an experiment, and Send is mostly a attention token. That as we keep building more products and do keep doing different initiatives, there would be more attention, and Send will keep accruing value. Obviously, Send will be integrated wherever it's required, and there would be like revenue buybacks and everything and so on. But I never call that like Send is a governance token or a utility token. It's simply a attention token, because we have a
mm.
lot of products and initiatives, and everything is tied to one token, which is the Send coin. So yeah, that's how the entire Send ecosystem is structured.
That sounds great. I mean, you have a lot going on, and it sounds like you're actively growing the Send ecosystem, and it's represented by this attention token, the Send coin. Um, Let me ask you like one more question around kind of AI agents in general. I think AI XBT is probably the most well known agent, um, and but it doesn't really have product market fit. It doesn't really do anything other than just replies. Um, where do you see kind of like the next steps in terms of like AI agents, and how can they become more useful, and what I guess what's your vision?
Sure. So I think there's a reason that AI agents currently doesn't have like any PMF or anything of sorts. I think like AIXBT is one of the best agents out there from a summary point of view. For example, I would say AIXBT is a very good CT summary agent, or even you can say a bot. So that like it summarizes what's happening in CT, and then like correlates that with the prices, and then gives a very good replies and all of that. So I think like at the end of the day, it has gotten attention. So I would give full credit is that EIXBT is like one of the best agents out there, and something which has partial PMF, because it at least it's getting what it's meant for, that is getting the attention. But I think like it's not purely a agent, because it's not executing anything. If it was executing trades after what it has been analyzing, then I would have said that it's a proper agent because it's also executing on chain. So what I say, crypto cross AI agents or on chain agents are anything which executes on chain. So an agent is simply basically an LLM plus a bot. So LLMs essentially allow like any agents to think, and then bot is the executional part. So I think like bots currently in crypto has a very good PMF. So you can say like bots in crypto does more than $5 million in revenue each day.
Mm.
Like Bong bot, Trojan bot, and then like a lot of different sniper bots which people deploy. So I think bot has a very good PMF in crypto. It's now about that we make these bots much more intelligent and smarter. So that will be like allowing this bot also to think autonomously. So I feel that soon like we will start getting like some trading agents which is like collecting alpha from different sources and then executing on chain. We're still not there yet. And I think like one thing like a lot of people have been here ignoring the fact that we don't need like a lot of AI agent frameworks. AI agent frameworks are already there in web 2. Like langchain is a very good framework. Like for example, we have seen that like most of like langchain is one of the best frameworks to be used with Solana Agent Kit, and not any crypto frameworks. The reason being that like LangChain is very much focused on building the agentic workflows. So I feel that like people in crypto should also start thinking from that point of view. How do we build the agentic workflows? For example, if some agent does yield farming on one protocol, and then after that it starts it deposit and stakes that yield in some protocol. So it's like basically a chain of actions when anything is done on chain. So I think like at then everything should be thought of an agentic workflow, and this existing web 2 frameworks work perfectly fine. I think people here are missing the point on how do we get the quality data, because one thing is that model all the AI model aren't like very much like trained for blockchain sort of data. Like any model like Claude or even Chat GPT, etc., doesn't understand like how to read the blockchain transactions, or what's exactly happening in a blockchain transaction. So I feel that right now a lot of work has to be done on the model layer as well. For example, fine tuning a model just on blockchain qualitative as well as quantitative data. For quantitative, I mean transactions data, that the model should be able to understand what's in a transaction and how exactly agents should do a transaction. So I think like once that context is there and models are very much optimized for tool calling, then we would start seeing like a lot of good agents which are able to think autonomously, read the blockchain, and then like take actions based on that. And that's the reason that we are currently very much focused on the tooling layer, because we believe that that's the real moat of crypto cross AI, that we have access to a like AI agent has access to wallet, and once it has access to wallet, it can access all the protocols and different keep doing different sort of agentic actions. For example, we also want to ensure that our agent kit has all the actions required for making purchases even on Amazon. So we will be soon
Mm.
doing a integration which will allow AI agents to pay for its own subscriptions and all of that, because it would have a virtual debit card. So we are talking to a company where like we want to make this a possibility where this AI agents can not just execute on Solana, but also like keep doing real world transactions. So that like we make it like not just on chain agents, but also like agents which can do transaction in the real world. And one more thing that we felt that agent can't be autonomous here because it has to pay for its server bills, and most of the server bills happens via card. So that's why like we are doing this integration. So for us it would be like just like keep building the tooling layer, because once you believe that there's a good tooling layer, lot of good on-chain or executional agents would be possible. And that's the vision that we are building for. And I'm also excited about that. We already have bots in crypto and that has PMF. It's now time to turn bots into like autonomous bots, or you can just say agents, where they not just like do actions based on a certain set of parameters, based on certain sets of programmatic actions, but it also is like starts thinking and start doing this. It has its own funds and start doing like all of this. But I feel that agents are still very early, but by the next year or so, like they will start doing like significant amount of blockchain activity. And I think like we already have some trends there by via bots, where bots currently do a lot of transactions on Solana. So it would be like just replaced via agents which are a smarter version of bots.
Yeah. I think I heard it once where like any serious technology starts out as a toy. And then when you take it seriously, it goes by really fast. Eventually it becomes, it takes over and becomes ubiquitous. And I think probably the agent space is like that, where right now it's, we've had bots for a while, but now we need to make bots intelligent using AI. And the Send team, you guys are creating these really good public goods that now developers can take advantage of, and hopefully we'll be able to see some really great consumer apps taking advantage, and with that's being powered by Send Solana Agent Kit. So
Yeah.
amazing. Well, Yash, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. I will share everything, all of the URLs and links in the show notes, because I want people to know about this. And it would be great if more people use the Solana Agent Kit and got involved in the Sun ecosystem.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And yeah, in general, like we keep building different products for developers like Solana Agent Kit and then like soon Solana App Kit. And we'll be building lot of things because here like we have a simple vision that we want to accelerate apps and agents on Solana. So we're just like making sure like we are building more apps ourselves, agents ourselves, and then also enabling developers to build more and more apps and agents. So we have a simple vision that we want to accelerate apps and agents on Solana. So that's the vision of Send currently.
And that's a great vision. I support that. Thank you so much, Yash.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for having me. It was fun chatting.
Thank you.